Three. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I've heard about the.
Thank you. We'll get started soon. Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order at 10:07. Before we get into the full meeting agenda for the July 17, 2025 Chicago Plan Commission meeting, I want to quickly provide guidance to those who want to provide testimony on the cases presented for public hearing today. A few of you may have already submitted forms electronically, but for anyone else who may wish to testify before the Plan Commission, please fill out a sheet located on the table where you enter the room. Please include your full name, address, if you're for or against the proposal, and if you're here representing yourself or an organization. Please hand your sheets to one of the staff members. People who have completed forms will be called on after each item is presented. Thank you. Out of respect for other speakers, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please line up at the microphone behind me and to my left in the order I call your name, and please do not repeat comments that have already been made by previous speakers. The public comment portion of the meeting is not a question and answer session of the staff or the applicant, but an opportunity for attendees to voice their opinions on a particular proposal. Out of respect for others, please do not interrupt or disrupt the speakers. Any individual who disrupts the presentation or any subsequent comment session may be asked to leave the council chambers, or if necessary, may be escorted out by security. I also want to acknowledge and welcome a group of students that are visiting today from First Generation In-Law Scholars Program from DePaul. Thank you for joining us. We will now call the roll. Commissioner Barclay? Not here. Commissioner Boatwright?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield? Not here. Commissioner Burnett? Not here. Commissioner Turner? Thank you and welcome. Commissioner Castañeda?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Flores, here. Commissioner Johnson? Not here. Commissioner Cadaquia? Thank you. Commissioner La Espada? Not here. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Murphy? I saw him. Okay, not here. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Ramirez Rosa? Not here. Commissioner Reyes?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Cicho Lopez? Not here. Commissioner Esposado? Not here. Commissioner Tillman? Thank you. Commissioner Villegas? Not here. We will now approve the minutes from June 26, 2025, regularly scheduled Plan Commission meeting. The minutes were distributed prior to today's hearing. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting of the Chicago Plan Commission held on June 26, 2025? Thank you. Do I have a second motion?
Second.
Thank you by Commissioner Piñeiro and Commissioner Cadaquia. Roll call vote. Commissioner Boatwright, can you confirm? Thank you. Commissioner Turner? Thank you. Commissioner Castañeda?
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Dowell?
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Flores? Yes. Commissioner Cadaquia? Thank you. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Abstain.
Abstain. Thank you. Commissioner Tillman? Thank you. Motion passes. Reminder, we will take public comments for the items on the agenda after each item has been presented. If you have not already done so and you wish to speak on an item, please complete the testimony slip available at the table just outside of the room. Staff members are available to assist if needed and will collect the forms from you. Now we will move on to the public hearing portion for matters submitted in accordance with the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance and/or the Chicago zoning ordinance. The first item today is listed as D1, a proposed residential business plan development submitted by Center Court Development LLC and XS Tennis and Education Foundation for the property generally located at 5301 South State Street. The applicant proposes to rezone the site from M1-2, Limited Manufacturing Business Park District, to B3-3, Community Shopping District, and then to a residential business plan development to permit the construction of a 5-story residential building with 51 affordable dwelling units and a 6-story, 125-key hotel, both with ground floor retail and commercial space, and 72 vehicular parking spaces. This is item 22761, and it's in the 3rd Ward. Louis Clayton will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Good morning, Chairwoman Flores and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Louis Clayton with DPD. The applicant, Center Court Development LLC and XS Tennis and Education Foundation and their development team appear here today for the purpose of requesting approval of a planned development to permit the construction of a 5-story residential building with 51 affordable dwelling units and a 6-story, 125-key hotel, both with ground floor retail and commercial space and 69 vehicular parking spaces. This request has been submitted as an elective planned development, which is an option for multi-unit residential developments with 36 or more dwelling units in the B3-3 district that receive public subsidies. The subject property is located in the Washington Park community area in the 3rd Ward. Washington Park has a population of just over 12,000 residents and has grown over 5% since 2010, outpacing the city's overall growth. Residents tend to be younger and have a median income of over $26,000, with 1 in 4 residents holding a bachelor's degree or higher. The subject property has a net site area of just over 61,000 square feet and is generally bounded by West 53rd Street on the north, a public alley on the east, West 54th Street on the south, and South State Street on the west. The surrounding zoning districts consist mainly of RT4, residential 2-flat townhouse and multi-unit district, B3-2 Community Shopping District, M1-2 Limited Manufacturing Business Park District, and Planned Development number 1255. The property is designated as a transit-served location for being located within 2,640 feet of the Garfield Station on the Red Line and the Garfield Station on the Green Line, and being located directly on CTA's number 29 state bus line. The surrounding area consists mainly of commercial, industrial, institutional, and multifamily residential land uses. The applicant also owns and operates the XS Tennis Village located directly west of the site across State Street. These images show the current site conditions from South State Street and East 53rd Street. At this point, I'll turn it over to Kamal Murray, with the applicant team, to walk through the proposed plan development in more detail.
So the plan development is to complement the success of the XS Tennis Village, which is the largest minority-owned tennis organization in the country, who has sent 57 Black kids to college with full scholarship, as well as has 3 head coaches that are head coaching Division I tennis teams right now, including the first Black female head coach in the Big Ten Conference, Gabrielle Moore, went to Morgan Park High School, who's a head coach at Indiana University. So as you can see here, the larger vision for the neighborhood is we're going to build 4 basketball courts, a restaurant on the front of the facility, 51 units of housing, with 50 of those units being affordable. 47 of the units will be affordable at the 60% AMI level. 3 of the units will be affordable at the 30% AMI level and 1% market. So we believe we have a real good commitment to the community by providing deep affordability with 50 of 51 units. In addition to that, it has become very challenging to continue to send kids to college with full scholarships if their rankings don't match their ability. In order to host an event, you have to be able to guarantee a $150 rate for the participants in the tournament. Historically, Black people have not been able to fly to California, Texas, Georgia, Florida to achieve national ranking points. Therefore, when UCLA looks at the top ranking list, Black people are not at the top ranking list because they weren't allowed to afford the ability to fly to California. By having the hotel here, we can host national level tennis tournaments every single weekend, allowing Black kids to take what I call the big green machine to a tennis tournament and elevate their points so they show up on the radar when UCLA, Georgia, Florida looks at the top 25 list. So that's why the hotel is in existence. In addition to that, we have the only professional sanction owned and run by a Black person in the world. Even the professional tournaments in Africa are run by white people. In connection with that tournament, we have to pay for rooms for all the athletes. 5 guaranteed nights per room. Our average hotel bill for our athletes for this 1-week event is $100,000. Those dollars could be in the community across the street instead of downtown. In addition to that, when the hotels are downtown, we have to transport them and feed them and pay for parking. This will eliminate the transportation costs and hurdles during Lollapalooza, getting athletes to and from downtown if they're across the street. This hotel is consistent with our mission and integral to our mission of putting more Black people in tennis at the highest level. This overall vision here, you can see on the east side of State Street, we acquired 2 parcels that are privately owned land, not city-owned land. We're attempting to rezone this land to suit this site. You can see we also put a lot of thought into the development. The reason why we separated the 2 buildings was so we didn't create a long stretch of solid structure along State Street. On the west side of State Street, XS Tennis, the tennis building is a block long. So it's a long stretch of a single, solid structure, where this we want to create some separation and create some connectivity to the eastern part of the neighborhood. We also fought hard to get a driveway. We didn't want to clog the street, State Street, with people dropping off Uber Eats, people dropping off seniors, the Pace bus picking up seniors to take them to the doctor's appointment. We want them to be able to safely get in and out of their homes. The traffic on State Street moves extremely fast compared to the traffic on State Street downtown, so the driveway was integral. In addition to that, people unloading luggage or checking into the hotel, you would need a loading zone to safely unload your luggage so you're not bending in the back of your car while people speed to and from State Street from the north to the south. You can see here, this is the north view here. You can see on the north corner of the hotel, we'll have 2,000 square feet of ground level commercial. We're hoping to have a Black entrepreneur to want to open up a business right there on that corner. As people sit there, it'll be great visibility for the owner of the business because they sit there at the stoplight and you'll see them directly to the left. On the south side of the site, the ground level commercial will be comprised of 4 pickleball courts and a 2,000 square foot cafe. Not only are we deep in the tennis space, but we also have a large presence in the pickleball space, and we believe that a Black-owned sandwich, coffee, smoothie shop would do well if we do our part to attract and keep the pickleball portions full, not only in the evening, but also during the day. Pickleball is largely played by Black seniors, and so we'd have seniors there hanging out all day, buying 5 and 6 cups of coffee, hopefully, and 5 or 6 croissants. So we believe that the connectivity to the pickleball will allow a business to be extremely successful, not only after 5 o'clock when people are off work, but also during the day. We also step the building back so you don't see a whole lot of solid structure. So you can see the upper floors will have some sort of balcony just to create some dimension. Like I said, XS Tennis is sort of a long, solid structure. So we want to create some dimension and some interest at that south corner. This is the pedestrian kind of walkway and entrance with sort of a plaza-like feel in the front of the facility. And this is our timeline. So we have had several meetings with stakeholders in the community. We had a community Zoom. We met with several people separately from the neighborhood. We've got a long way to go on the construction drawing. So we are, after zoning approval to get our heights and setbacks approved, we will start, more formal designing of the construction documents and hopefully be ready to go and apply for permit at the end of this year and get in the ground next year. One thing I will want to point out is that we partner with a reputable brand. The Hyatt is a reputable brand. This is not some pay-by-the-hour motel. This is not some hotel where you rent a room for 15 minutes like the one I live next to for 15 years. This is a very reputable institution with a lot of connectivity. My office stares at this facility dead in the face. And so one of the things I think this neighborhood needs is an operator that is vested in it. Literally, when I turn around in my chair, I look at the hotel. So I'm very vested in what the front of this place looks like, who's coming in and out, and who we're allowing to be there. In addition to the housing, we hope that of our 40 employees, some of them apply for the affordable units in the housing to create some connectivity. And I think that, in our community, sometimes we are really concerned when a property owner from Texas or a property owner from Winnetka comes in the neighborhood and develops it and doesn't have any connectivity or any oversight of the asset. This is not that. I'm there every day. I was there at 7:15 this morning mopping the floors. So when the kids came from camp at 9 o'clock, the floors are clean. This is sort of the site here. So you see the facade on State Street. We created some no parking zones so that the drivers can come in and out of the driveway safely with no blind spots. They will not be able to cross over State Street to make a left turn and head south. It's going to be a right turn only to avoid any potential accidents as the traffic moves so fast. To the rear of the property, you can see the parking as well. And then on the ground floor, you see the pickleball courts with a connected cafe, which we hope is a great marriage. They're popping up all around the country. There's a franchise called Chicken and Pickle that is doing really well. The prices are a little bit sky high, so our prices will be a little bit cheaper and more affordable to the community. This hotel also has a pool. One of the challenges we've seen in excess tennis is that if the girl is playing in a tournament, her bad little brother is jumping all over my treadmills, right? So we have a hotel with a pool where the parent can take the kid across the street, hang out at the hotel, go to a pool, and stay out of our way. The second thing is once people come to this site, they probably won't leave this site. When people come to play our events, they are all day, right? So your first match might be 8 o'clock, second at 12, second at 4. This isn't a population of people that has time to go visit the Bean. And so we wanted the extended stay portion of this allows them to do some light grocery shopping, pack some bananas, some bagels, some pineapples, some Gatorade, go rehydrate, and walk back over to the facility. This is the typical floor plan of the housing. Like I said, 50 of the 51 units are affordable. So we have the majority type A units and handicap accessible units in the building. There's also a residential roof deck on the second floor behind the building. So people can go out there. There's also a small party room. So it was originally 52 units. We got rid of one unit to have a resident amenity on that south side of the building connected to the rooftop. Building elevations. We really took into consideration the height. There's a lot of 3 flats in the neighborhood. So this property isn't too tall. It's only 5 and 6 stories. So it's not significantly taller than anything in the neighborhood. It's definitely a lot shorter than the bakery that's on 55th Street immediately to the south. So we were really sensitive to the sight lines and the height and not building some monstrosity in the midst of a neighborhood filled with three-story buildings. Here's sort of the traffic patterns, in and out. So as you can see here, someone will come in, drop off a resident at their home or drop off at the hotel. They will leave the exit the hotel, drive around the back, and then park with their key card. Everything will be key fob access. So once you check in, you will get a key card that allows you to access the parking lot. And then residents will also have a key card to access the parking lot. It is TOD, so we meet all the parking requirements per that. We did a traffic study. So one of the good things for the State Street corridor, it is well trafficked during rush hour. A lot of people hop off the Dan Ryan and take State Street south. So it's a huge benefit to the 2 businesses that will be able to prop themselves up right across from the tennis center, in addition to the restaurant that's coming to Excess Tennis across the street. So we believe that this traffic will, really give an opportunity for a business to be successful. So this is our open space and landscaping. We obviously are going to install all new landscaping on the streetscape, and then we have open space in the front of the property and open space on the 2 roof decks to the east of the property in the back. The facade will be light gray for the hotel. Will be light gray metal panel with accented metal pedal that is sort of a terracotta color, which a lot of the buildings in Washington Park are terracotta, as well as the church that's to the north of Excess Tennis. And so we were trying to be consistent with the neighborhood. Residential, for the residences, we'll have brick facade majority on the front of the building, and then just metal panel on the top floors just to create some connectivity to Access Tennis across the street, and then the hotel color. From a sustainability standpoint, we will be a lead building, achieving 100 points through these methods. So green roof, residential biking, EV charging stations, charging readiness, CTA digital displays, et cetera. Stormwater, so obviously we work with Space Co. to make sure we met all the stormwater requirements on site. Again, affordable requirements. So we are 51 units of, 50 units will be affordable, 22 one-bedrooms and 29 two-bedrooms. You know, there are other units that we are building on Dearborn that will be larger units. So in this building, based on the site being kind of small and not wanting to go super tall with the building, we were only able to fit ones and twos in this building. And no studios. The Hyatt Hotel project will be a $25 million project with 100 temporary construction jobs and 25 permanent jobs. Our goal is to hire a lot of African Americans in this project, and from our research has shown African Americans do not join unions right away. So we will not be signatory to a union right away because our goal is to hire majority Black people at the position. Housing will be a $16 million project with 75 temporary jobs and 25 permanent jobs. The permanent jobs will be connected to property management, the cafe, as well as running the pickleball operation, which a lot of traffic, a lot of cleaning, a lot of 1 hour rentals, shifting of people, et cetera. So we do see this being a great job creator. Like I said, across the street, we have 40 jobs. And so this will be 65 jobs connected to a racket sport and then the cafe. We do hope that a lot of the people who choose to work at the hotel will also become candidates for the affordable units in there to create a whole environment where people are vested in what the property looks like from the outside, where's it trash, dropping things on the floor, et cetera. So our goal is to create a whole ecosystem, much like what exists at Wimbledon and Roland Garros, where everyone is extremely invested in what the neighborhood looks like because they live there and they work there, and now they'll be able to eat there.
Again, for the record, Lewis Clayton with DPD. DPD has reviewed the proposal and concluded that it is appropriate for the site. It meets the criteria set forth in the Chicago zoning ordinance, and its adoption will not have any adverse impacts on the public's health, safety, or welfare. Specifically, the proposal has been thoroughly reviewed by multiple city agencies, aligns with its B3-3 zoning designation, and will not negatively impact nearby developments. It supports economically beneficial development patterns that complement the character of the surrounding neighborhood and nearby properties. The proposal provides amenities suited to the scale and nature of the project, while allowing flexibility in use, bulk, and development standards to encourage creative and high-quality design. It meets all relevant standards and guidelines, is compatible with the area in terms of use, density, and building scale, and is supported by adequate public infrastructure and city services. Please refer to my staff report for further details regarding this project and the plans identified here today. Based on the foregoing, it is the recommendation of the zoning administrator of the Department of Planning and Development that this application for the residential plan development be approved, and that the recommendation to the City Council Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards be passage recommended.
Thank you, Louis. We do have quite a few speakers signed up to speak, so I'll call them by groups of 5. If you can line up by the microphone. First, we have Mr. Butler Adams, who's for the proposal, followed by George Blakemore, who is against, Rashonda D. Williams, who's against the proposal, Kimmy Jordan, who's against the proposal, and Mr. Melvin Bailey, who's for the proposal.
Yes, for the record, my name is Butler Adams. I am for this proposal. I live in the Woodlawn area, but I'm very, very familiar with the Washington Park community. And I think this is a great addition to the area. I mean, there's so much vacant land and so little development around there. I think this is quite beneficial. to say that it's too tall or too dense just kind of blows my mind. In the city that actually invented the skyscraper, just to the east, you have Hyde Park. You have 3-story buildings next to 15-story buildings, and that makes no big difference. This is going to create jobs and opportunities for the area as well as tax revenue. And I really hope that the city also looks at Garfield itself between King Drive and maybe Halsted and doing like upzoning like they've done for 95th Street and Western and stuff like that, because there's so much opportunity in between those two transit lines. I think this is a nice project, nice proposal. I'd like to see a lot more projects like this in this area and along State Street. So for those who are against this project, I mean, I understand your positions, but it's time for us to stop being against so many things, to be for things. There have been many projects approved in this committee and commission that are still pushed back by the community. I mean, we just had a year-long fight for a project in Old Town, and now they're suing. I mean, it kind of blows my mind, the arrogance and ignorance of some people, but I hope this is approved, and I hope it moves forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
My name is George Blakemore, and I'm totally against this project. That was old Stateway Gardens or something project. George Leonard, corrupt George Leonard, got that property from the federal government for his son. That tennis court. That tennis court. How did he get all that? And now that's that same tennis court that's going east now. I'm not nobody's damn fool. I am nobody's damn fool. Now, if the other people getting paid, that's on them. I say, how did he get it? His old daddy received the ship. The jury, all these are hooked up together. These corrupt Democrats. That same tennis court, that was federal aid. I went over there for a budget hearing or something like that. Say, mister, you can't, this is private. I said, this is not private. Oh, yes, the federal government. I want Trump to come by here and clean up this swamp. I'm not stupid enough to think that Trump is not a white man, but I'm talking about these local Democrats. That's why I flip red. That local Democrats. And on my way to blackness, this is a mess down here. All Democrats. That is federal land. That old tennis court. How did he get that? How did George Leonard? He got it for his son. So Mr. Blakemore's not nobody's damn fool. And you know what? You can kiss. Use your imagination, and I'm through.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Ms. De Williams,
Good morning,
good morning.
members of the Plan Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Rashonda Williams, and I'm a proud member of Unite Here Local 1, the Hospitality Union. I also serve on the executive board. I'm here today on behalf of my union to urge you to vote no on the proposed hospitality and housing development at 5301 South State Street. The Excess Tennis and Education Foundation and Center Court Development, LLC, has proposed this development directly across the street from XS Tennis Village, which was built on land formerly occupied by Robert Taylor Homes and developed with a $1.5 million loan from the Chicago Housing Authority and city funds totaling nearly $3 million. Back in 21 and 22, I ran a campaign to be a member of city council where my position was and still is affordable housing. And I'm going to give you some numbers. We've removed so many housing units from that area and we haven't replaced them. Our members, the members of my union, and the third ward community at large are faced with deep and worsening housing shortfalls. 4,151 public housing units were demolished in Chicago from 1991 to 2010. 4,400 of those units were at Robert Taylor Homes. I was born and raised in Chicago, South Side, my entire life. In 2022, ProPublica reported that the CHA is nowhere close to fulfilling its obligation to build homes and redevelop communities where its high-rises once stood. It's the same playbook. We take away housing, we take away homes from people, and then we don't replace them. But then we build some elaborate thing for people that have lived in the community cannot ascertain. A recent study by the Illinois Economic Policy Institute found that Illinois currently faces a shortage of 142,000 homes and needs to build 227,000 units over the next 5 years to keep up with the pace of the demand. I myself have been displaced.
Can you please wrap up? Thank you.
Members of the Planning Commission.
Can you state your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I am. Hi. Members of the Planning Commission, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Kimmy Jordan. I am a proud member of Unite Here Local 1, and I am here on behalf of my union to urge you to vote no on the planned development at 5301 South State. I spent much of my childhood, born and raised, in Stateway Gardens just north of Robert Taylor Homes. Every year, we are invited to the Stateway Garden Reunion Barbecue. My aunt is one of the lucky ones. She finally got moved into a unit at the Ledges home, right there on 36, right there on State. Most people weren't lucky like my aunt and still waiting to return. It breaks my heart after all these years to see folks trying their best to hold their community together. I believe the Chicago Housing Authority hasn't put the needs of working people first. If they were, they wouldn't be swapping or selling land for uses other than housing, like they did in 2015 when they sold 13.5 acres to the Robert Taylor Homes site to build the Excess Tennis Village. When looking at this proposed hotel, I hope that the commission will think about the context. The commission should not approve a hotel in a neighborhood with 4,400 demolished units sitting just across the street. This project should be modified to eliminate the hotel and include more affordable housing.
Thank you.
Hi, Planning Commission. My name is Melvin Bailey. I'm in favor of this project. Reason why I'm in favor, because it seems as if in a Black man trying to develop in the Black community, now there's a problem. But when the other folks come develop in the community, don't nobody say a word. And now when we're talking about, because I've been coming down here to this committee from the Alderman's Planning Committee for at least 3 administrations, talking about the same thing, that we need somebody that looks like us, that develop our community, so these young kids can look up to somebody and say, thank you, somebody that looked like me can do it. Instead of the kids that we represent that's coming out the mud saying, big bro, get me a job because I'm finna go rob somebody today. But we got a young man right here is actually finna build in a community that needed the property, been vacant for 15, 20 years. And now we got a man with a vision of changing lives, not just his life, that people around the community lives gonna be changed. And it's so disheartening for me to be coming up here to hear that Black folks going against a man that's trying to do right and want to do right, but we got Black folks want to pull them down because it's not, I don't know, it's kind of, like I say, it's disheartening to me, and I feel very bad that we fight against each other. We fight against each other instead of bringing development to our community and saying, let's embrace this so we can uplift our community, so we won't have all this violence. Where everybody at talking about, he don't need this, when all these kids killing each other. I don't see you out in the street then, but we there, he there. I don't see nobody out in the street going on the south side or going in the west side talking about, man, put down them guns. Don't nobody say nothing to these kids. Nothing. Nothing. That's why they out here shooting and killing each other. Because don't nobody say a word to them. Because they scared to talk to them. But me and this man here been going block by block talking to these young men he's from the south side, I'm from the west side. And I come out south and he come out west. I said, man, I got a group of young men, a group of shooters you need to talk to. These are shooters. When you talk to them, tell them to raise up their shirt and see the biggest Draco you can see in your life. And you ask this little kid, where you get that from? He say, big bro, get us a job. I give it to you. So again, and it goes back, and then I'm glad he mentioned the union. The union don't hire African-American people because I didn't protest the union for the past 15 years. They don't hire black folks. What the union at when they talking about getting jobs? The union do not employ African-American people. That's why we got so much crime going on in our community. When you see these big developments, these big structures going up, you see no African-Americans working. What they call African-Americans on construction site now is dinosaurs. If you see them, they say, look at that dinosaur. Because we are not there. So again, we should embrace this project wholeheartedly and thank the alderman for this beautiful vision and people that's supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. The next group of speakers, Cecilia Butler, who doesn't specify if she's for or against, Jen Harvey, Judith Jordan, who's against the proposal, Dwayne Daniel, who's against the proposal, and Dr. Edward Cheney.
Can I let someone else go and I go after them?
Sure.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you for letting me have this opportunity. I'm Jan Harvey from 53rd and Wabash. I'm the oldest one thus far that's still there, been there all my life. I live in a home that was purchased by my aunt, great aunt, and my grandpa back in 1914. I'm still there. I'm the last one there, but I'm still there. I'm applauding the development idea. I object to the height of the hotel. I object to the, quote, affordable units. I don't think so. I got too many vacancies in my area. I also am very nervous about the construction. I live across the alley of what you're proposing to do. All that heavy equipment and digging is going to do damage to our properties. That building that I live in has been there too long and we can't take it. You're going to have to dig as deep as the building is tall, and all that construction is going to shake up our properties. So please reconsider the height that you want to do and talk to us later. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Judith Jordan. I'm a vested homeowner at 5308 South Wabash, next door to Jan Harvey. I am also, my family purchased this property in 1983 due to the fact we were part of a gentrification and eminent domain process that happened down in Bronzeville on 40th and King Drive. This seems like another attempt to be somewhat similar to that. It's disturbing. The outburst this morning just blew my mind, excuse me. But we've been wanting to meet with you, Kamal. We reached out to Pat Dow's office about a month ago to come and share with you. The meeting is set up, actually, it has been pushed out to after this meeting, after the zoning meeting is supposed to be held. We would have loved to have met with you before. Talk about community outreach. You mentioned the Wabash Block Club. I live on Wabash. I live right behind your projected development of the Hyatt Hotel, Pritzker. And you talk about this outreach with this block club. What block club? Who did you meet with? Because we are the block club. We live right back there. You didn't touch base with any of us. You talk about connectivity to Excess Tennis with your office space open wide so that you can see your development and be proud. We're proud of you too, but we're not proud of this type of construction in our community. We want things. We want accessible grocery stores. We want affordable housing. The pricing that you're quoting is with the median price of the people in the community doesn't match up. You also state that this project, this hotel is for your visitors from out of state, for your tournaments and events and so forth. You also have a 39-unit development townhomes right behind you at Excess Tennis for the same meaning, for your visitors. You're not including, you have not said inclusive of what the residents that you would be, like community-wise, that you're reaching out to us. You only talk about your elite. Every article I read is about your elite people. It's not about the local Black people. As far as green space, I'm trying not to be all over this place, but community outreach is important, and we would, I'm just gonna say this. In closing, we ask for meaningful engagement to include us, not as an afterthought, but as stakeholders. We are not against your development. We're against being overlooked on our own neighborhood and some of the things that we would like to have within the community. And we would love to meet with you and share and discuss. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the Planning Committee. Thank you for inviting us here to speak on the behalf of the proposed project. For Brother Murray, as my neighbor Judith Jordan expressed, my name is Dwayne Daniel. I too live right across the alleyway from this proposed project. My family has been on 53rd and Wabash for 57 years. We've been in that very house for 50 years come September. The house is probably 137 years old. So as Jan's, maybe 20 something. As my neighbor Jan Harvey expressed, the building, the heavy equipment will have an effect on those properties because we have limestone basements, so still a lot of us, okay? So with that said, I'll get into my speech. Thank you for your time again. This opportunity to speak on the proposed 53rd to 5301 and 5325 State Street complex, which proposed to build 125 unit rooms, a hotel, and 51 residential complex with 75 parking spaces in the rear, which is of course right outside my garage, and a pickleball court. We're in Washington Park. We don't play pickleball, but he says seniors in the neighborhood do. I haven't seen the court on 51st being played yet. The community, I stand before you to express my strong opposition in the plan of this development, and of course, the close proximity to Beasley Academic School. Beasley is less than 50 feet away. As I've noticed in your pictures, you don't show any parts of the school, which is a great idea and great for your team to make sure no one saw a grammar school that houses 1,050 students, babies under 13. And there's a church less than 100 feet away also from the school. But I think you've met with those people. You just haven't met with us. Firstly, let's consider the location. Again, it's less than 50 feet away from the grammar school. This raises significant safety and health concerns for our children. The influx of hotel guests, coupled with increased traffic, noise, could create unsafe environments distracting from the educational experience for our youth. We must prioritize the well-being of our community. And furthermore, guys, for everybody in this room that knows about Washington Park, over 50 years, not one single family home has ever been built. 50 years. I've been there 57 and it's probably been 60. So it's a travesty to say you want to put a hotel, an extended stay hotel.
Thank you.
The closest one is at Quick Place. You want to put one.
We need to move on to the next speaker. Thank you.
morning. I'm Dr. Edward Cheney. Thank you for the privilege to speak this morning. I am the President Emeritus of the Washington Park Homeowners Association, and I am the man who created the Washington Park Homeowners Association. I was not born in Washington Park, but my parents lived in Washington Park when I was born 78 years ago. I would like to cede my time to the present president of the Washington Park Homeowners Association. Is that possible?
No, right? Okay.
Would you accept that?
They
I
have,
can't hear you.
they have to sign up for their own time.
He did sign up.
What's his name? Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Cheney.
It's individually timed. Yes. You guys are completely changing the rules. That's right. No, and then we're still missing Miss Cecilia Butler. Is she coming back?
I have a minute and 53 seconds.
You can continue.
I had the privilege of meeting with Mr. Murray yesterday. The issue of the hotel is complex. It's not simple. It is interesting, as pointed out by Mr. Daniel, that there are no photographs of Edward Beasley School to be presented to all of you who are assembled here today. As a former educator from students second grade through dental school, it is important that children be considered and protected. And Mr. Murray and I discussed that yesterday. I would like everyone to consider the fact, if you have a child, do you want to drop off and pick up your child next door to a hotel? Think of all the dimensions of children going in and out of school next door to a hotel where people go in and out daily. Keep in mind Megan's Law. Keep in mind Sandy Hook and all the other experiences of children being brutalized in this country that have been experienced by you in your lifetime. The project is worthy. And we have talked about the project being moved.
Can you wrap up your
where it
comment?
is to another site in the same neighborhood. And I believe that's a worthy consideration. And Mr. Murray agreed.
Thank you.
But he also agreed.
Miss Cecilia?
Cecilia Butler. I'm the president of the Washington Park Advisory Council, the Washington Park Residents Advocacy Council. And I'm here today to give you a brief insight of Washington Park Community Area 40. We have been stepped on and ignored as a community, and it starts as far back as 1993 when Commonwealth Edison put those electric power towers within Washington Park from 61st and Lafayette all the way to 54th and Federal, where they go downstairs, where they go underground. And Washington Park has become nothing but a cancer alley. The community between that distance, people have died. They're dying as we speak. That was only the first thing I noticed being a 40-year resident of the community. The next alderman, by the name of Arenda Troutman, killed our community by tearing down brick buildings that I have pictures of in the late 90s. And our brick was sold at the, what is it? At the Olympics in 1998 as Chicago brick. The third thing that's happened within our community that's on the books present that we do not want is the Sunshine Community Center, which is across the street from the Washington Park District, 345 acres, and we don't need another building across the street from our present location, because there are already 29 locations within the community of Hyde Park, Washington Park, and Woodlawn that can accommodate people. And now, thanks to another organization by the name of, Corpus Christi Church is creating a community center, which brings 30 institutions within a 2-mile radius. We don't need Sunshine. And lastly is Access Tennis. Across the street from a school we don't need. When you ask people, what do you think about a hotel across from a school? The first thing they say, no, I don't like it. Because those people that come through hotels might have an ulterior motive when they see a school across the street. And all we want is to move the hotel on 51st Street. Don't have it on State. Put it on 51st. Give
Thank
it
you, Ms.
another
Butler.
location that can be used. Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'll turn it over to the commissioners, and I know Commissioner Boatright has a few questions for the applicant.
Sure. So just a couple questions I think would be helpful just for clarification for the full commission. Can you provide clarification on the land ownership specifically for the proposed project? The second question I have is if you could just share with the full commission your outreach strategy for contractors, for your permanent workforce, how to ensure that you have a diverse workforce, both on site for the construction side and at the hotel. And then lastly, in terms of your engagement with the community, your ongoing kind of plan. Third question, and I can repeat these later. I want you to discuss your partnership with Beasley. I think that's an important one, given the proximity, and I think it would be good for the full commission to know what you've done and what you'll be able to expand with this development.
Yep. So first question is the land was owned by 2 different people, 2 private owners, and I bought them from private owners. This was not city-owned land. It was not CHA-owned land. So this is private land that I've overpaid for just to get control of it because the landowner had it for 25 years and didn't do anything and was planning to do nothing. And being across the street and staring at it, I can't allow that to happen. That's the first question. Second question. We intend to meet and exceed our MWBE requirements. Alderman Dow will tell you that when our contractor who built Access Tennis was falling short and there weren't enough Black bodies on the job, I painted the facility myself. So I'm committed to that and remain committed to that. Third question, Beasley uses Access Tennis for PE quite often. They walk right across the street into our side door and use our facility for PE. Secondly, they also hold their graduation there. So we've got video and pictures there where they've held a graduation in our turf field. Any more questions?
And it was engagement, your ongoing, engagement strategy from a community standpoint. I think it's helpful.
I don't know anybody from 47 to 63rd Street that does more for the community. Any CHA resident with a voucher comes and plays at Access Tennis and gets tutored at Access Tennis for free, 52 weeks a year. And then even beyond that, if you submit your W-2s and tax returns, we have a sliding scale. So just for context, a monthly membership to Access Tennis is $25 a month. A monthly membership to the YMCA is $32 a month. Beyond that, if you get 25% off, you're paying $18 a month. So I believe no one has created deep affordability for a high-quality product than we have. No offense to the YMCA, but I ain't no YMCA coach. I coached Olympic gold medalist and a Grand Slam champion, 2 Grand Slam champions. So you're getting that for $25 a month. So that's my commitment to the community. Number 3, I don't get paid from Access Tennis. I get paid from Tennis Channel and coaching my professional tennis players. So I show up every day and I mop those floors this morning for free. But I would like to address some of the comments. There's deep vacancy in Washington Park. On the street of 53rd Street in Wabash, there's a couple dilapidated garages and vacant lots and unit buildings with no garage. If I am going to abduct a child, I'm going to take them in one of those vacant buildings, one of those vacant lots, or in my car, or in the bakery. I'm not going to drag them through a lobby with workers and security and cameras and key fobs and all of that. That is not a valid concern. If I'm a pedophile, that is not my lowest risk place to take a child. Number 2, no one's more concerned about the kids than me because I got a facility that touches 2,386 kids a year. Any other questions from the commission?
Thank you, Kamal.
Thank you for that. I think it would be a good time to turn it over to Alderwoman Dowell just to address some of these comments and just make a statement on this item.
Yes, thank you, Chairman and members of the Plan Commission. Thank you, Kamal, for your deep investment in Washington Park, for being of the community and for the community. I just want to say that to you publicly. I appreciate what you've done in Washington Park. This particular lot in this area has sat vacant for probably 30 or more years. There has been no development in this part of town, and as the gentleman from DPD was talking about, Washington Park is growing, and I think some of that is because of the investments that have been made along State Street and along Garfield, and we need to keep that momentum going. I wanted to address the issue about, affordable housing. I mean, this development has 51 units, of which 50 are affordable at 60% of AMI and 3 at 30% AMI. But since May 2023 in the 3rd Ward, we've built 141 affordable units. They're already built. We have 534 units in the pipeline, and we have 106 under construction, including the Legend South construction that's being done at 44th and 45th Street on State. So this community is not devoid of affordable housing. And I would agree that we need to have the CHA move quicker on their transformation plan. And I'm hopeful that with changes upcoming in the CHA, we can get the ball moving on CHA development. But affordable housing is not the issue. In fact, 30% of the housing stock is affordable in the 3rd Ward, compared to 8% for the rest of the city of Chicago. So we're doing our fair share. I wanted to also address this idea that a hotel can't be near a school. I've got 2 hotels near schools. I've got the South Loop Hotel near Drake Elementary School, and I have the Amber Inn Hotel near Phillips High School. Not once in the years that I've been alderman have I had any incident of pedophilia or dragging a kid from the school or any incident between these hotels. And in fact, the South Loop Hotel is really close to Drake Elementary. The Amber Inn Hotel is about a little bit less than a block away. I think that this will not be an issue here, and this hotel has even more safeguards than the 2 hotels that were mentioned that I mentioned. The other thing I want people to think about is the jobs that are created. Kamal, you didn't talk a lot about the jobs you have created at Excess Tennis. But, you know, the fact that the lawn service, the people that take care of the fields, the electrician, the caterers, everyone that comes over there, those are opportunities for African-American companies to make money and to grow their business. And I appreciate that. And I know you're going to take that same kind of vision into this development. I know that you have continued to have conversations with people in the community, and we will continue those conversations. This is not, you know, this is not going to end today. I think that you're going to adhere to the noise and the construction requirements of the building code and the Chicago noise ordinance. And I'm gonna hold you to that because people do call when people start building it before 8 o'clock a.m. So we will continue to work on that. Thank you, Ms. Chairman.
Thank you, Alderwoman Dowell. I'll open it up to the rest of the commissioners. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Yeah, Commissioner Tillman?
You. I just wanted to say thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for the presentation. You know, in reviewing the documents ahead of time, I was very pleased to see what was going to be presented today. But your presentation, so the passion with what you spoke, the forward thought, was enlightening about the why, the how, the what could be, really brought to life. I think this is more than just a hotel and a residence. It's a passion project, right? And it extends what you have done with Excess even further, right? Your tentacles are able to move even further and continue to pour into that neighborhood. And I know there's been a lot of talk about the children and Beasley, but I think that what the kids are able to now look at and to see and to experience because of your development, because of the access to the different products that you are providing on State Street, the kids will have a different mentality now. And so I want to say thank you for doing that. As an architect, thank you also for creating something that is beautiful. Often our neighborhoods don't get to have that type of materiality and thought behind it. And so thank you for that as well. So I just wanted to make sure to put that on record that we appreciate the forethought of this project.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners?
I do have a couple of.
Yeah, Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yeah. You, for the, Mr. Murray, for the presentation. Couple of questions. Where I see Hyatt in the different renderings, what's their level of commitment at this point to have the flag of the hotel? Are they committed to it?
We have a signed franchise agreement and I need to be open by December 2027.
Okay, good, good, thanks. And then the other point, it's a minor point, but I think it's an important in the whole design process to think about. Am I right to understand kind of the map here that the access to the tennis facilities on the southern end of the facility of the building? Is that correct?
There is no direct access. They have to cross the street.
No, I know, but
Yes.
the access to the facility is on the southern end of the building,
That's on the
right?
southern end.
So as I'm looking again at the renderings, I see that that the the entrance to the residential and also the hotel, which is going to be a lot of interaction with the sports facility. It seems to be kind of in the middle of the building itself, not in front of the access. And when I look at 53rd Street, I think that seems for crossing the street. 53rd seems to be a little bit too far north. And I think this one is 54th. It's a little bit too far south. It lends itself to a little bit of a crossing hazard as it relates to that. So maybe there's some coordination there with CDOT that might be required for the last thing that you want to have happen is a street like State Street, where there's going to be a lot of traffic, kids crossing the street thinking that that's the fastest way to get there. So that's what my only.
Yeah, valid point. I don't know if CDOT wants to address that or if that was part of the conversations that the team had with.
Sure. Craig Turner, CDOT. We did look at that, at the situation, probably having like a mid-block crossing, but it's too close to the intersection. So we're also doing a TMP study to kind of, work with it so we can increase the flow of traffic safely and for pedestrians and vehicles and other modes of transportation.
Thank you.
Yeah, we also looked at it. So the way we designed it, we envisioned that the hotel patrons would go north to 53rd, use the crosswalk, and we envisioned that the residents and the housing would walk south to 54th. But your point is correct. We went back and forth on it, put a lot of thought on it. And, we didn't want to promote sort of that because the traffic moves so fast. And, you're right. Maybe people jaywalk. We just want to encourage.
Think about it. I mean, again, it's not a major point in the context of approving the project, but I think it should be considered because again, we're talking about kids of all ages. So you know how it's going to happen. They're going to look for the practical solution. And the last thing you want to have happen is jaywalking on a busy street like that. So
Thank you.
Just for context too, there is a full traffic signalization at 53rd and State. It's not shown in.
Is there a site plan?
graphic.
Maybe we can go to a site plan to point that. Here. It doesn't show across the street.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a good point. So we're looking at that. We're going back and forth with CDOT. So that's what we thought. It was two routes, but you're right. It is sort of smack dab in the middle. But we'll continue to go back and forth with the alderman and CDOT to try to see if there's a way to acknowledge that.
Yes, Commissioner Kadakia?
Hi, there we go. I'm really like the layout of the project, everything. I think it's really going to be very catalytic and build upon what you put together already. But rather than just give you, kudos on beautiful design, what I wanted to mention was in, concerns about neighbors in terms of immediately adjacent structures. I assume you're not also a structural engineer, but I had such a problem on a property that I owned where a developer was doing deep level construction. And I believe that there are measures that can be taken and coordinated because you can't damage other people's properties. Not saying that you would, of course, but you can't. And so I think there are measures that can be taken, right? And to allay those concerns.
Yeah, we, this is, type 1 construction. So it's basically concrete first floor and, steel studs above it. So there is no deep sort of, footing. There's no basement. There's not a lot of, deep digging that'll take place to affect people across the alley. Also, we see the building kind of hug State Street and not hug the alley. So it kind of creates some distance between the building and the alley. But we'll definitely, you're right, I'm not Flores, but I'm not a structural engineer. But we'll make sure that the neighborhood is taken into account.
Any other comments or questions from commissioners? Commissioner Boatwright?
Yeah, I asked a bunch of questions, but I didn't get a chance to just comment on just your thoughtfulness. You've heard the other commissioners talk about just your commitment to investment, and your passion does shine through, Kamal. It's loud and it's clear. And I appreciate it. I love the design of both the housing and the hotel. I love the continuation of just the work that you're doing. And most importantly, the impact. I think, Alderwoman Dow and a couple of our commissioners stated the level of investment that our communities need and deserve. It's a breath of fresh air to see a local committed partner that's willing to do it. So thank you for your continued commitment. Thank you for this level of investment. We want to see a lot more of it. We're not relying on you to bring it solely, but investment attracts investment. These housing units will attract additional housing units. And I think we need to understand that and appreciate that it takes deep investment to bring the type of quality uses that we want to see in our neighborhoods and that our neighborhoods deserve. So thank you for your ongoing commitment. I'm excited to, obviously with the commission's full support, to see this project move forward, to see dirt flying on this site, and just to see the impact amplified along State Street and throughout the community area.
Thank you, Commissioner. Would you like to?
In closing, I would just like to say, when change orders come to excess tennis and when funds run short because we were building too big for what the neighborhood can handle, back in 2014, my parents mortgaged their house and I mortgaged my condo. So I don't have the luxury of walking away from this investment. My mother was a CPS school teacher for 27 years at Hyde Park High School. And so I owe it to her to make good on her investment. And then that's to my resident folks, right? The second thing is I do the work. So I'm on the court with the kids every day. My two sons play. Those people, yeah, one won Wimbledon, one won the US Open, but it started when they were 7, 8 years old. And so it ain't just the shiny objects. It starts right now. And if you want to come see me, I'm there from 8:15 to 5:15. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to knock on somebody's door in Washington Park because I ain't got time for that because I'm mopping floors and I'm teaching kids. But if you want to come see me, if I'm mopping at the time, you're going to grab a mop and walk with me and talk with me. But I'm deeply invested in the neighborhood. And, hey, I love the passion. We need to have that passion with people who have vacant land and do nothing with it. So I'm a Black man. My parents are Black people. My dad went to DuSable down the street. I'm vested in the neighborhood. I can't move to Florida with my US Open trophy, right? I'm stuck here. So if I'm going to be stuck here, it's going to improve. So come with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take you up on it. Any last comments, questions from the commissioners before I ask for a motion on this item? Okay, not seeing any hands up. Okay. With that, do I have a motion on a proposed residential business plan development submitted by Center Court Development LLC and Excess Tennis and Education Foundation for the property generally located at 5301 South State Street, finding that it meets the requirements for approval? Thank you, by Commissioner Tillman. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. I'll go ahead and ask for a motion or a roll call vote on this. Commissioner Boatright?
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Turner? Thank you. Commissioner Castañeda?
Yeah.
Thank you. I do have a recusal from Commissioner Dowell on this one. Commissioner Flores, yes. Commissioner Cadaquia? Thank you. Commissioner Lyons is a recusal on this one. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes, can you
Yes.
confirm? Thank you. And Commissioner Tillman? Thank you. I hope I didn't forget anybody. Oh, Commissioner Murphy? Yes. Thank you. And motion passes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. The next item is listed as D2. A proposed Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance application submitted by the Chicago Park District for the property generally located at 141 West Diversey Parkway. The property is currently zoned POS-1, and it's within the public use zone of the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection District. The applicant proposes the construction of a 26,781 square foot dog park in Lincoln Park. This is Lakefront item 794, and it's in the 44th Ward. Extremely loud. Louis Clayton will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Good morning. For the record,
Just a second, Louis. Mr. Blakemore. Where is the officer? Let's just take a break to figure this out. You see them? They're dealing with the people outside. Okay, you can continue. Thank you.
Good morning again. For the record, my name is Louis Clayton with the Department of Planning and Development. The applicant, Chicago Park District, is here today to request approval of Lakefront Protection Ordinance Application 794 to construct a 26,781 square foot dog park in Lincoln Park. The fenced-in, dog-friendly area follows a community concept plan and features a mix of concrete, artificial turf, pea gravel, and mulch. Additional elements include landscaping, fencing, lighting, benches, a drinking fountain, and an open-air shade structure with seating. The subject property is located in the Lakeview community area in the 44th Ward. Lakeview has a population of over 100,000 and has grown over 7% since 2010, outpacing the city's overall growth. Residents are generally younger, live in smaller households, and have a median income of over 100,000, with 83% holding a bachelor's degree or higher. The subject property, identified here in yellow, is located in an area of Lincoln Park bounded by DeSable Lakeshore Drive to the east, Maradona Field to the south, the Diversey Driving Range to the west, and the Diversey Natural Area to the north. It qualifies as a transit-served location since it's within 1,320 feet of the number 77 Belmont CTA bus route. The closest CTA station is the Wellington Station on the Brown Line, located over 5,000 feet to the west. The site is currently vacant and is zoned POS-1, Regional or Community Park, and no zoning change is proposed. It is located within the public use zone of the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection District. At this point, I'll turn it over to Michael Lang with the Chicago Park District to walk through the proposal in more detail.
Good morning. My name is Michael Lang, and I'm with the Chicago Park District. Our superintendent is actually meeting this morning with community members in Lawndale to discuss the findings and the next steps that were related to Douglas Park shooting. And so he's running late and should be here sometime soon. For clarity purposes, you might see the abbreviations or hear us say DFA, which stands for Dog Friendly Area. So just wanted to, they get often used interchangeably. And I know as planners, we all like to use acronyms and want to just make sure that we're all on the same page here. So the Park District, in cooperation with the community, are proposing to improve this portion of Lincoln Park with a new off-leash dog-friendly area. The dog-friendly area is located between Inner Lakeshore Drive and North DeSable Lakeshore Drive, basically halfway between Belmont Avenue to the north and Diversey Parkway to the south. It is sort of nestled just south of the new natural area and just north of the Diversey Artificial Turf Field, and located east of the Diversey Golf Driving Range. To place a little context here, the photo here in the image was taken at the southwest corner of the project site, looking northeast towards the natural area and DeSable Lakeshore Drive. The dog-friendly area is set off approximately 30 feet from the concrete sidewalk here that provides some separation to the fields to the south. The space is often used as a meetup place for dog owners, and it's also located about 90 feet east of the driving range fence, and actually over 600 feet east of residents that are on the west side of Inner Lakeshore Drive. A few more photos of the site are taken from the interior, looking northwest and northeast. As you can see, the site is a relatively flat grass space with a few trees planted primarily along the edges within the space. For some planning context here, an extensive planning process actually led to the creation of the Lincoln Park Framework Plan back in 1995. Many of the policies and objectives that were outlined in that plan are actually still really important today. The plan envisions this segment of Lincoln Park, ranging from Montrose south to Diversey, as sort of the recreation core of the park. And that is still evident today by the driving range, the recently built artificial turf fields, and some of the other recreational elements like playgrounds that are within the area. It's important for the creation of all of our dog-friendly areas that there is community and public involvement throughout the entire process. And that is definitely one of the principles that are within that framework plan as well. This proposal specifically conserves natural resources by constructing the project west of DeSable Lakeshore Drive, preserving more of the natural environment along the lake edge. So these projects are sort of a little bit of a labor of love, and it actually started initially with the community in the fall of 2018. Over the years and through the pandemic, with support from the community, the aldermen and the park district, we partnered through multiple steps to do outreach, to leverage the funding for this project, as well as ultimately lead us into sort of the design process. The community, the dog-friendly area group, and the aldermen have actively conducted outreach in a variety of different ways. This includes a series of community meetings, both in person and via Zoom, that included both the Southeast Lakeview neighbors. Some of these happened through the pandemic, and they even range from small outreaches like the Halloween pub crawls that you see here in the images that started in 2021. To further show even more community support, in 2022, a referendum was placed on a ballot with over 8,400 people voting yes to the creation of this dog-friendly area. Alderman Lawson also provided a support letter for this project in 2024 and has been an important partner to this project all along the way. The project is nestled within a space to allow the preservation of a lot of the existing elements, including 7 existing trees. In addition to that, a combination of new canopy and ornamental trees that are native would be planted. The interior of the site of the dog-friendly area is a mix of concrete pathways, artificial turf, mulch, and pea gravel. This allows for the project to be designed in accordance with the stormwater management requirements that are outlined by the City of Chicago. This is a small rendering that we created to help show some of the context of it. The entry to the dog-friendly area is actually at the back of the image here. The entire space is fully ADA accessible, and it's divided into both a small dog-friendly area and a large part. The center of the dog-friendly area actually contains water elements that are meant to provide recreation activities for the dogs and cool off during these warm days of summer that we have. Included in the site, we are also including benches and shade structures for people to sit and have some relief from the elements, whether that's sun or rain. little more specific on the details of the shade structure. It is 8 feet in height at the eave and almost 12 feet to the top of the structure. The grade of that dog-friendly area is about 5.5 feet below the curb line of Lakeshore Drive there. The Park District estimates that this project will cost us approximately $1 million, and it leads to ultimately about 10 temporary jobs. The Park District, we do have our own MBE, minority business and women-owned business enterprise requirements, which is a minimum of 25% for an MBE, as well as 5% towards a WBE. And those goals will be attained both through the design and construction of this project. That concludes our presentation, and I'll turn it back over to Louis.
Again, for the record, Louis Clayton with DPD. DPD has reviewed the proposal and concluded that it is in compliance with the applicable policies of the Lakefront Plan of Chicago and the purposes of the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance. Specifically, promoting public health and safety, conserving natural resources, and preserving the cultural, historical, and recreational legacy of the lakefront, while enhancing park character, expanding recreational opportunities, and ensuring harmony between parks, communities, and new development. Please refer to the staff report for further details regarding this project and the plans identified here today. Based on the foregoing is the recommendation of the zoning administrator of the Department of Planning and Development that this application, being in conformance with the provisions of the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance, be approved, subject to compliance with the plans presented to you today.
Thank you, Louis. And we only have one speaker signed up to speak, Mr. George Blakemore.
Thank you. It's just a dog park. So what is your objection to a dog park, Mr. Blakemore? Listening is a way of learning. I don't have to be able to read, write, or spell. I can smell something that's rotten here at this planning commission. And what is it? When they started building this dog park, he brought in another scenario of who gonna build it? Who building this private company? And how many of these workers gonna be black? I don't want to hear about MBs and WBEs. I'm playing the race card. Mr. Blakemore, why do you always play the race card? Because black people are being gentrified out of the city of Chicago. That's right. And Chinese are moving in. They're the fastest group. And then Mexicans are moving in. Asians are moving in. Black people are moving out. And I am playing the race card. Why is this happening to us? The people that were not refugees, but enslaved in America. Why? And in this city, supposed to be a world-class city. Why are blacks moving out? The word is gentrification. And who's helping them to do this? No good black leadership. Black faces in high places, selling black people out. Now you fussing about the dog park. I want anything that's built. I want to see a black man work. And I want to see a black person get the major contract. Or any kind of little contract. I'm advocating for me and my people. And I am selfish. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. These other people are advocating for themselves. The Hispanic advocate for their people. The Asian, the Chinese advocate. And there's nothing wrong with that. Is that racist? I don't have to like nobody but me. Can I hate whites? Can I hate Chinese? Is that a crime against humanity, enslaving black people in America? Am I a racist? You all are racist. Just because you have a black face in a high place doesn't mean that you are there looking out for the issues of Black people. And thank you again, and I will speak on this next.
Thank you. I'll open it up to the commissioners. Do we have anyone that needs to ask a question or make a comment on this item? Nope. Oh, I did have a question, and this may not be for the team presenting, but what do we do about incidents with dogs, attacking other dogs or people in these parks? Is there a way to monitor that? Are there cameras? Are there first aid stations? Because this is pretty secluded from any other structure. So are there any specific regulations around that?
Yeah, so all of the Park District's dog-friendly area signs also include the information to animal control. And so when there is a dog, when there is an incident that involves dogs, whether it's two dogs biting one another or a dog biting a human, you are supposed to report it to the Cook County Animal Control.
Okay, but there's no immediate location to, I don't know, just first aid things to take care of it?
No, there is
No.
not.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, not seeing any. And I know Alderman Lawson could not be here, but there is a letter on file, just obviously in support of this item. So I wanted to say that. And if there are no more questions or comments, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion on this item. Do I have a motion on a proposed Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance application submitted by the Chicago Park District for the property generally located at 141 West Diversity Parkway, finding that it meets the requirements for approval? Thank you, Commissioner Boatright. Do I have a second motion? Thank you, Commissioner Piñeiro. Roll call vote. Commissioner Boatright, can you confirm? Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Turner? Thank you. Commissioner Castañeda? Yeah. Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Flores? Yes. Commissioner Cadaquia? Stepped out. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Murphy? Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro? Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. And Commissioner Tillman? Yes. Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. The next item today is listed as D3, a proposed Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance application submitted by Loyola University of Chicago for the property generally located at 6551 through 81 North Sheridan Road. The property is zoned Plan Development Number 34 and is within the private use zone of the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection District. The applicant is proposing to construct a 6-story building not to exceed 90 feet in height, containing university classroom, research, and laboratory space. This is Lakefront item 793, and it's in the 49th Ward. Omar will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Thank you and good morning. For the record, my name is Omar Smailebegovic with the Department of Planning and Development. The applicant, Loyola University of Chicago, is here today to request approval of Lakefront Protection Ordinance Application 793 to construct a 6-story nursing, forensic sciences, biochemistry, and chemistry building, including classroom, research, and laboratory space. The project site is within the private use zone of the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection District, and the proposal requires the approval of the Chicago Plan Commission. The project is located within the Rogers Park community area, which is a dense community with excellent access to the lakefront, transit, and a range of neighborhood amenities, including Loyola University. The population of Rogers Park is approximately 55,700 people and is a diverse community with a somewhat higher educational attainment than the average Chicago neighborhood. The subject property is bound by West Albion Avenue to the north, North Sheridan Road to the west, West Loyola Avenue to the south, and an alley to the east. The site is served by the CTA red and purple L lines and is approximately 1,000 feet west of the shore of Lake Michigan. The subject property is located in Subarea F of Plan Development 34, which has a net site area of 68,385 square feet. The proposal is compliant with the bulk and use regulations and statements of the plan development, and no changes to what is allowed by the plan development are proposed. Now, I'd like to pass this off to the applicant team to go over the details of the proposed project.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having us. My name is Andy Tanucci of Woodhouse Tanucci Architects. I'm going to present the specifics of the proposal. The project is on the north side of Loyola's campus. Loyola has chosen this site, the site of the Campion dormitory that's been taken out of use for this project. The Campion dormitory has received a deconstruction demolition permit, and that project is about to get underway. Again, the project's on the north side of the campus. This building will be the northernmost academic building on campus, a gateway to the campus along Sheridan Road, and then a gateway into campus. The proposed building, as mentioned, is a 6-story, 190,000 square foot building. The image on the left is from the train station across the street from the southwest looking northeast. The image on the right is from Sheridan to the north looking southeast at the facility. We've taken cues from the Loyola campus using the red brick of the Loyola campus, detailing on campus consistent with other academic buildings on campus. You can see to the west, brick facade, windows into what are laboratory buildings, classrooms, student collaboration spaces. To the south, on the image on the left, you'll see more transparency open to primarily collaboration spaces and an atrium. And then to the north, the image on the right, you'll see a little bit more transparency. These are collaboration spaces and classrooms taking advantage of the views of Lake Michigan to the east and to the north. Along the street, we've worked with the Forestry Department, CDOT, to design a streetscape that's consistent with the city and the campus. Planters, you can see along the parkway, an entry sequence in the lower left image into the building, an inviting sequence from Loyola and Sheridan from the southwest into the building at a pedestrian plaza. Elevations. I'll highlight in the elevations, we have a specific slide to speak to this. Bird migration is going to be considerable. We're going to pay close attention to this with the project. All the glass of the project, again, which I'll speak to specifically, will be bird-safe glazing. You can see on the elevations, this is the south, the east, the north. This is the site plan, north-oriented to the top of the page. Primary entrance, as I mentioned, is from the southwest, from Sheridan and Loyola Avenue. You can see the red arrow that identifies the entry. We have an enlarged floor plan that I'll highlight a little bit more specifically. There's a secondary entrance on the northwest side of the building off of Sheridan. You can see with the smaller red arrow. We wanted to highlight Loyola has paid close attention to the pedestrian connectivity into the campus. Loyola undertook a pedestrian traffic survey, and you can see the traffic counts from both the northwest and southwest side of the building. We've worked with CDOT to propose bump outs in the curbs to promote pedestrian safety. This will shorten the travel distance across both Loyola to the south and across Albion to the north of the project site. Loading will take place off of the city alley to the east side of the site. This plan has been rotated, so north is to the left. But the loading is on the southeast side of the building on that public alleyway. Vehicles will come off Albion to the north, travel south down the alley, and load on this southeast corner. We've reviewed this with CDOT. All the specific turning radius have been studied, provided. The site design, we've worked with forestry on this. We'll be keeping several of the parkway trees along Sheridan at the bus stop to the south, 2 more mature parkway trees adjacent to the entry to the northwest will be preserved. New planters will be provided, a new sidewalk along the west, north, and south of the project. Closer to the building will be a lower level plantings, all native plantings consistent with the campus planting plan, native plantings and lower level ornamental trees. Some site sections through those raised planters adjacent to the building here have been provided. Here's an enlarged version of the first floor plan, again rotated with north to the left of the page. The entry is then on the bottom right of the plan, entering into the building in this light green color. You can see the community spaces, a large entry forum and collaboration space looking out to the plaza to the south or right on the plan. The orange spaces are classrooms, again, predominantly an academic building of labs and classroom spaces. The blue space on the bottom is a laboratory space. The gray is support. I'll also just note that secondary entrance to the kind of lower left of the page off of Sheridan. This is the roof plan. Predominantly, they will house mechanical equipment behind a roof screen, but all the roof that is not inside of that screened area will be a green roof, an intensive green roof on the roof. I'm going to let Kana Henning from Loyola speak to the public engagement plan. Loyola undertook a significant public engagement process with the community, so I'll let her speak to that.
Thanks, Andy. For the record, my name is Kana Henning. I'm the Vice President for Facilities and Campus Management at Loyola University. We began engaging with our immediate neighbors along Loyola Avenue and Albion Avenue on April 24th. We held a meeting with them directly to begin to explain what we knew as soon as we knew it around the demolition practices that we would be undertaking at that site, as well as our ongoing design efforts related to the new project that would be in development. We had a second meeting with those neighbors directly adjacent to the property in early May before a public 49th Ward community meeting that was held on May 20th. We've continued to meet subsequently with those immediate neighbors adjacent to the property on an every 2-week cadence, where we just keep them updated on the progress of our demolition practices, updated on the progress of our design, so that they're aware of updates as soon as we know them. We also engage with them through a regular email newsletter and community dialogue with them over email as well. We're here today for our Plan Commission hearing, and we are anticipating moving into foundation construction this winter, and then subsequent building construction in the spring so that the building can open in July of 2028 in preparation for our fall of 28 some academic year, 28-29 academic year. I think, I don't know if I'm pressing the right button. Much of what we heard from the community during the engagement process, they've been, understandably questioning and wanting to understand our demolition and construction site logistics. So we've engaged our contractor with them as well to help answer questions and give them a direct point of contact for any emergencies. They've had questions about our operating hours, so we've been talking about that with them. And then they've been very curious about our landscape, building setbacks and bird safe glass, specifically wanting to see direct connection of the landscape and building design that we engage in the main part of our campus brought north to the north part of our campus that's more connected to their neighborhood community.
Thank you, Kana. Speaking specifically to some of the additional considerations of the project will meet the Chicago Sustainability Development Policy. We're seeking LEED Gold. Loyola has really excellent sustainable practices and standards. So the project will seek LEED Gold certification, which will get us the majority of the way to achieving the Sustainable Development development policy requirements. In addition, as I mentioned, we'll have the bird-safe glazing on the building, the native landscapes, and we are also meeting and exceeding the stormwater ordinance. I mentioned this slide. In addition to Loyola's sustainable initiatives, they're also incredibly sensitive to wildlife protection and the bird migratory paths, given their location on campus. Across the entire campus, Loyola employs a building automation system practice whereby they control building lighting and shades inside of buildings so that during bird migratory times of high bird migration, they can change the lighting inside of the building as well as the shading inside of buildings to reduce the amount of bird strikes. The bird-safe glazing that I mentioned is etched glass with a pattern, a frit on the exterior of the glazing so that makes that glass more visible to birds as they're migrating. And that bird-safe glazing, in addition to this building automation control system that will control the lighting and shading in the building, is how we'll mediate that. I mentioned the stormwater management and satisfying that. We've worked with the city to receive their approval of our plan, and our goal is to exceed the stormwater requirements on site. And then I'll let Patrick Brawley of the university speak to the economic and community benefits.
Great, thanks, Andy. Patrick Brawley with Loyola University, University Architect, Assistant Vice President for Campus Planning. So we are meeting the economic and community benefits here. As you can see on this, the great part of this project is we do have a grant from the state, which has some obligations as well. So not only does the institution have its own obligations, but we have obligations tied to this grant that we've received. So we will be meeting these obligations here with 25% DBE participation, 7% WBE participation. That's accounted for in that. The project will also have 1,800 temporary construction jobs as we go through this construction process, but we do not anticipate any additional full-time jobs with this since it's a part of our institution, our academic mission, where we're already hired for that component of this.
Again, for the record, Omar Smailobegovic from DPD. The Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the project materials submitted by the applicant and has concluded that this proposal is in compliance with the applicable policies of the Lakefront Plan of Chicago and the purposes of the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance. In particular, this project meets policy number 7 and purpose number 4. The proposal strongly protects and supports migratory birds, and the windows of the proposed building will incorporate anti-collision features intended to prevent birds from flying into windows. Policy number 8, the proposal will increase personal safety by improving lighting on the project perimeter and by installing emergency phone stations and security cameras. Additionally, the increased building setbacks will improve visibility at the intersection of the public alley and Loyola Avenue. And policy number 14, the proposal is consistent with the land use in the surrounding area and with the uses allowed by plan development number 34. Additionally, I'll note that a letter of support from Alderwoman Haddon is on file. Please refer to the staff report for further details regarding this project and the plans identified here today. Based on the foregoing, it is the recommendation of the zoning administrator of the Department of Planning and Development that this application, being in conformance with the provisions of the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance, be approved subject to compliance with the plans presented to you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. And we do have 2 speakers signed up to speak on this item, Mr. George Blakemore, followed by Mr. Butler Adams.
Thank you. The Lakefront Protection Ordinance is supposed to protect the lakefront from private people, and the lakefront is deteriorating. But that's a powerful university, Loyola. So money talk and that bull walk, a powerful university. Now, where is the altar lady here? When did she have her meetings, her community meetings? And how did the people vote at these meetings when they had to sign it, sheets? A letter is not sufficient because our ultimates have been indicted for corruption. It's a history of ultimates going to the penitentiary. They are not respectable people. So her letter is not sufficient. She should be here, and these questions should be answered. How many people came to the meeting? How did they vote? And when did she call a community meeting? So right here, it's suspect that when you all get ready to vote, I've never seen any objections. From the years that I've been coming to this meeting, before Sierra, a long time ago, they all rubber stamp. They say, so-and-so, I, so-and-so, I, so-and-so, I, so-and-so, I. This is not normal. This is un-America. No checks and balance, all Democrats. Everybody here, I was listening. Say Mr. Blaymore can't read. Say he can't write. But he can hear. Always when they call Commissioner so-and-so, I, Commissioner so-and-so, I, this is not normal. This is something that's not normal. Never no objection. Sometimes my mama like me and sometimes she don't. She said no. No. But all the time agreeing is suspect that it's paid to play here. Corruption, fraud, and abuse here. Now my time will be out here. When you call this count, watch it, rubber stamped here. It's something evil here on America. It's not normal to everyone to agree. Thank you.
Mr. Adams?
Yes, for the record, my name is Butler Adams. I'm not yay or nay for this project, but I have spoken on several of the Loyola projects. And I'm glad to see this not SCB because Loyola has picked that firm many, many times. But also looking at this rendering, I really couldn't tell because it's very, very consistent with what Loyola has done on the campus. And if you go back to, I think it was page 22, you showed like the initial rendering. And I think that was much more visually bold than what's being, that one right there is much more bold, just because it's a different color than what's already on the campus. So again, I'm not against this project at all, but I think that sometimes we don't always have to go with the more conservative design. We could be a little bit more bold and proactive, but otherwise I'm not against the project. I'm just thinking, be a little bit more bold in design because repetition and consistency can be kind of boring sometimes. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. I'll open it up to the commissioners. Do we have any questions or comments for the staff or the applicant on this item? Commissioner Boatright?
Great project. Looking forward to seeing an improved site here with this use. You have a slide that has your timeline. It looks like construction beginning roughly winter of this year. Is that accurate?
Yes, we're anticipating beginning foundation work in the winter.
Okay.
And full
3
building.
year- with a
Yes, a
3-year
3-year.
construction period.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was my only
Is it-
question, just the timeline.
Thought it was a 2-year construction. Is it 2-year or 3? Yeah, 2.5. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? No? Everybody's quiet. Oh, and let the record reflect that Commissioner Cicho Lopez is in attendance now. Do you have a comment or question? No, just that. Okay. Thank you. I'm not seeing any hands up, so I'll go ahead and ask for a motion on this item. Do I have a motion on a proposed Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance application submitted by Loyola University of Chicago for the property generally located at 6551 through 81 North Sheridan Road, finding that it meets the requirements for approval? Thank you, Commissioner Boatright. Do I have a second motion? Thank you, Commissioner Castañeda. Roll call vote. Commissioner Boatright?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Turner? Thank you. Commissioner Castañeda?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Flores? Yes. Commissioner Cadaquia? Thank you. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Sicho Lopez? Thank you. And Commissioner Tillman?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, on to the last item on the agenda today. The next item today is listed as D4, an informational presentation of the Calumet Area Land Use Plan and Design Guidelines covering portions of the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th wards. The plan focuses on assessing the effectiveness of the Burnside, Pullman, and Calumet industrial corridors, the Lake Calumet Plan Manufacturing District, PMD 6, and other industrially zoned land in the Calumet area. Launch in 2024 with an expected conclusion in early 2026. The planning process provides multiple opportunities for collaboration and comment to establish a 20-year vision for the area, incorporating the city's economic, job creation, health and safety, and environmental goals. The plan will also include design guidelines related to landscape, stormwater, site and building design, and sustainability, with a particular focus on the negative impacts of air and noise pollution. Look, Mitch will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Great. Thank you. Technically, good afternoon, Chairwoman Flores and Plan Commissioners. For the record, my name is Luke Mish. I'm a project manager in the Citywide Planning Bureau of the Department of Planning and Development. And I'm here today to provide an informational presentation about DPD's Calumet Area Land Use Plan and Design Guidelines. The Calumet Area Land Use Plan and Design Guidelines update will establish a 20-year vision for the Calumet, Burnside, and Pullman industrial corridors, which includes the Lake Calumet Plan Manufacturing District, or PMD6, as well as additional industrial and formerly industrial areas adjacent to these corridors. The planned study area is located in the Far South Planning Region and includes portions of the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th wards. The ward offices are members of our project working group, and DPD has held individual briefings with Alders Mitchell, Harris, Beal, and Chico, and they are broadly supportive of this planning effort. The land use framework portion of the plan will ensure future development in the area delivers on the city's economic, job creation, health and safety, and environmental goals, while the plan's design guidelines will incorporate best practices and new technologies related to landscape, stormwater, site and building design, and sustainability, with a particular focus on the negative impacts of air and noise pollution. We have a project website at chicago.gov/Calumet that includes more information and more background on this study. We kicked off this study in mid-2024 with the analysis and understanding phase wrapping up earlier this year. We're currently in the midst of the draft land use framework phase, and we'll be advancing to developing a preferred land use framework and the design guidelines later this fall. DPD and our consultant team are working closely with our community partners to develop and conduct community engagement throughout this process. This includes close coordination with the Calumet Area Industrial Commission, or CAIC, which serves as the Local Industrial Retention Initiative, or LERI, delegate agency for these 3 industrial corridors, as well as the Calumet Connect Partnership, which is a collection of civic and community organizations focused on economic development, environmental justice, and quality of life issues in the broader Calumet region. Community engagement to date has ranged from smaller focus group discussions and one-on-one interviews to a kickoff open house in January of this year that attracted over 120 participants. The project team also holds monthly meetings with our working group, which is comprised of ward office representatives, industrial business representatives, community organizations, area residents, and governmental partners, specifically CDOT, CDPH, Department of Environment, Chicago Park District, Cook County Forest Preserves, MWRD, Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways, CTA, and Metra. The project team has also engaged with the River Ecology and Governance Task Force to explore river edge access and riverbank conditions of the Calumet River, and we anticipate returning to that group later this year as we begin to develop the design guidelines. Future engagement is anticipated to include additional focus groups, continued monthly meetings with the working group, pop-up and youth-oriented engagement activities, and additional community meetings, including an open house next Thursday evening, and I'll be sharing a little bit more about that later. We anticipate wrapping up the study in early 2026 and returning here to Plan Commission to seek adoption in Q2 or Q3 of next year. The planning process seeks to update the 2002 Calumet Area Land Use Plan and the 2004 Calumet Design Guidelines, and it builds on what's really dozens of prior plans in the Calumet area over the past 20 years, both from governmental and community partners. The plan also draws from the goals and objectives of the 2023 citywide plan and is part of the larger industrial corridor land use planning effort that's currently underway at DPD, which includes the recently adopted Armitage Industrial Corridor Framework Plan. Existing conditions analysis has covered a broad range of topics, including economy and workforce, nature and ecology, transportation and infrastructure, and health and community. Findings from these analyses have been explored with our working group in our monthly meetings over the first half of this year and have guided the ongoing development of a draft land use framework. Materials from those meetings and the findings of these analyses is available on our website. Drawing from the goals and objectives of prior plans, as well as what we've learned from our existing conditions analysis and our initial community engagement, the following high-level draft goals have been developed to guide the plan's recommendations. Invest in Calumet as a hub for jobs and economic activity. Protect and enhance Calumet's natural resources and open spaces. Enhance infrastructure to improve mobility, safety, and sustainability. Support the health and well-being of Calumet's communities, and bolster regional culture, identity, and collaboration. Draft objectives for each of these goals are being developed and include strategies related to land use and zoning, potential capital improvement projects, policies, programs, and additional future planning studies. As I mentioned, we'll be holding our next community open house next Thursday, July 24th from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at Olive Harvey College. We'll be sharing a draft vision statement, draft goals and objectives, and a draft land use framework to collect feedback from the community. And in addition to the plan-specific engagement activities of the event, the open house will also feature a community resource fair, youth activities, food, and giveaways that feature local businesses. Spanish language interpretation will be provided, and all are welcome to attend. For those who can't make it to the in-person event next Thursday, we're also holding 2 virtual open houses in early August. Wednesday the 6th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. and Thursday the 7th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Both of those sessions will also include Spanish language interpretation, and recordings will be available online. Folks can register for all of these events on our website. Over the remainder of the summer and into the fall, we'll also be conducting additional engagement to collect feedback on the draft framework and other plan elements. And as we review and consider that feedback, we'll be developing a preferred land use framework and drafting design guidelines this fall, with a final draft plan anticipated next spring, at which point we would return here to Plan Commission. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Thank you, Luke. We do have one speaker signed up to speak, Mr. George Blakemore.
You have to have a way of communicating with seniors also, because some of them, like myself, have not embraced the new technology about the internet. So hopefully you will consider that. And also, this is only for information only now, but I'm giving you some information, and I hope that you take it as constructive criticism. you must reach out to the community. You cannot continue to have these meetings and citizens are not here for whatever reason. You have a job, you have a duty as a public servant, paid or whatever, free or whatever, to get the people involved. Now, if the people are not here, it's because you haven't found a way to get them here. Maybe it's the timing. Maybe it's the way you are marketing. You have to market yourself too. Your job is to educate, inform, and enlighten, and engage us, the people. So it's not good to have empty seats. So I hope that you all would take this as constructive criticism. That it's not a good look for you. Don't worry about me, for you. I'm not an elected official. And to have any type of meeting and you don't have public participation, why? If the public don't know better, you're supposed to help us and teach us better. Maybe it's the timing. Maybe it's the way you present. Whatever, you must. The empty seats is not a good look. It's not good government. It creates a suspicion of fraud, waste, and abuse. It's no people involved in here. And I am target number one. Oh, here he come again. Oh, here he come again. I'm quite comfortable here. And when I leave and get off, I'm going to sing a little song. Look, when the Bible are all empty, the pews are all empty of men, what then? These seats are empty. It causes corruption, fraud, and abuse. Now you're looking up here, want me to shut up. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. Thank you.
Do the commissioners have any comments or questions for Luke here about the plan? Commissioner Lyons?
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I was curious can you speak a little bit about the Lake Calumet, the cluster, the Superfund sites, and how whatever's happening on remediation there is integrated into this planning?
Yeah, so there's actually 3 Superfund sites in our study area: the cluster site, the Acme Steel Coke plant site, and the Shroud site. And so we're coordinating with US EPA on their land use planning efforts. In general, they're pretty deferential to local government in terms of future land use. So we're coordinating with them on understanding their timeline. You know, they're on a multi-year remediation timeline. But then following that remediation, you know, the land use that gets established in this plan and is, you know, implemented via zoning would take hold.
Anybody else? Any other comments or questions? Commissioner Cito Lopez, followed by Commissioner Dowell, or the other way around? Yeah. Go ahead.
Just a quick question on the organization that you're working with is the industrial area.
Calumet Area Industrial Commission.
Yeah. How strong are they now? I haven't checked in.
So they are the Leary delegate agency for at least 4 of our industrial corridors, and they also represent industrial interests outside of Chicago as well. So they're.
Do you know approximately how many members they have?
I don't know off the top of my head. I could get that information to
Okay.
you, but
Just
fairly strong is the short answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a few questions. In terms of what wards does it include industrial corridors within one ward? What ward are they?
7, 8, 9, and 10 portions thereof. Mostly 10.
Okay, mostly 10, I will say. Yeah.
Mostly 10.
Yeah, thank you. So in terms of like the engagement with the different, because I'm sure there's different needs, different areas, right? I think that these the coexistence between industrial and residential, I think is is critical. So in terms of like aldermanic involvement and also the different needs that you see, how you navigating, I think we have an industrial corridor in a highly residential area, right? And that coexistence is, is also dependent on the availability of funds for remediation and other things. So just curious in general on the aldermanic involvement and that coexistence between industrial and residential. What are the needs? I know that this is an engagement that is going to get to that, but what are you hearing, or what maybe some of the things that you're seeing? In our case, for instance, is a move to lighter industrial, or what in terms of has been the history? Because I have not been connected directly with this, but I'm curious to learn a little bit more.
Sure. Well, all four ward offices are part of our working group that meets monthly. So we coordinate closely with all four aldermen. Our engagement, it's a large area. It's about 10,000 acres. That's part of our study area. So we try to move our in-person engagement around in that study area to be able to attract folks from across the different wards. In terms of some of the key issues or that you say that interface, things that we're looking at a lot are edge conditions. So where we have industrial uses, what's on the edge of those uses and what's the interface between those and, non-industrial uses. And then, as you say, are there opportunities as we're thinking again, future, long-term, should properties redevelop, are there ways to contain some of the heavier uses in areas where they need to be, where they can access infrastructure, but where they are not having that negative impact on neighborhoods? And then are there ways to kind of step down those uses to lower intensities near the neighborhoods? So yeah, but as you know, different needs. Each of the three corridors here has kind of drastically different built form, different sectors of industry. And so, we're taking this holistically because of the nature of the area, but yeah, different needs are definitely happening in different wards.
Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners? Nope. Okay. Thank you, Luke.
Thanks.
Great job. We'll look forward to seeing it come back. You said early next year.
Early
right?
next year. Yeah, Q2, Q3.
Thank you. And we don't need a vote on this, as this was just an informational presentation. So we will move on to adjourning. Oh, yes, sorry. Commissioner Boatright has an update for the committee.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a brief update to the commission. If you all recall, we implemented our new sustainable development policy that went into effect January 1st of this year. The first update since the last version in 2017. And I want to be intentional about providing updates on how we're seeing sustainable measures being implemented from our proposed projects that come before Plan Commission. And I'll start today with bird-friendly design. And I'm starting with that one because this has been a topic that's come up a lot. And I want you guys to know how our developers are responding to the policy. So as of right now, nearly 50% of our development teams have selected bird protections as part of their compliance pathway. And that's actually up from 10% from our 2017 version. And so the policy is really incentivizing more thoughtful implementation of bird-friendly measures moving forward. Obviously, it has a lot to do probably with the higher menu values. We went from 5 to 20 for basic measures and from 10 to 30 points for enhanced measures. The updated Sustainable Development Implementation Guide has certainly been helpful for our developers and just more public awareness, right? And so you saw 2 projects today that implemented bird-friendly measures, both the excess tennis housing and hotel development, but also Loyola's development. And so I just wanted you guys to know, anecdotally, we're seeing many more projects using design features and lighting techniques without formally choosing it as menu items outside of the 50% that I mentioned. And so again, I'll start to come back more frequently and hit on different sustainable development implementations that we're seeing across our development. But I wanted to start with bird-friendly design because it's been such a hot topic over the last 19 months or so.
Yeah, any questions for the commissioner on that? Yeah, thank you for the update, and we'd like to see those numbers go up, so
Yes.
thank you. Okay, so with that, I'll do roll call vote to adjourn. Commissioner Boatright?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Turner? Thank you. Commissioner Castañeda? Sheila. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Flores, yes. Commissioner Cadaquia, you're still here, yes. Commissioner Lyons? Thank you. Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Sicho Lopez?
Yes.
Thank you. And Commissioner Tillman? Yes. Thank you. See everyone next month. Enjoy the last half of the summer. Goes by so fast. Thank you. Oh, and what time is it? This month's meeting of the Chicago Plan Commission is now adjourned at 12:20. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.